What's up, guys? We are back with a full slate of MLB action here on Monday, September 9th. Stick around till the end of the video for a Monday night football pick. Sunday went pretty well, guys. Week 1 NFL action can be a little bit scary, obviously, without all the information on these teams, but we had the Steelers plus 3.5 to start the day off. That was an 18-10 straight-up win for Pittsburgh. Cousins threw 2 interceptions in that game. The Pittsburgh defense looks very, very good. Things getting off to a good start there. We had the Bengals minus 7.5 as our second game. That was a pretty crazy 16-10 straight-up loss there for the Bengals. They couldn't stop the run. They were a little bit banged up. Maybe this Patriots team isn't going to be quite as bad as everyone thought, but regardless, not a great start for Cincinnati. We had Seattle minus 5.5. That was a close one, guys. A 26-20 win there for the Seahawks. Like I said, closer than expected. That Seattle defense did look good out there. They found a way to get the job done, but a little bit too close for comfort. We also had the over in that washed Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, over 42.5. Easy win there, guys. 57 total points in that one in a 37-20 Tampa Bay win. Both teams scored the ball, but that Washington defense continues to look pretty bad. We've still got the Lions minus 4.5 going on right now. They've definitely got a chance. So we've got a profitable day locked in for sure. We'll see if the Lions can come through and make it a very, very good day. But guys, let's get after it here with a full MLB slate on Monday. Before we jump into the games, though, hit that like button. We made it all the way to 800 likes on Sunday, and I know we can do better than that today. If you're new around here or haven't already, subscribe to the channel for free to get notifications on our daily uploads. You can also sign up for a channel membership. Channel members will get exclusive early access to all NFL and college football videos. If you have any other ideas for members perks, please let me know down in the comments. Guys, our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. We have a great team of experienced cappers over there for every major sport, currently covering Major League Baseball, NCAA football, UFC, and the NFL. Click the link in the description if you're interested in signing up, and also to join our free email list to get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Comment below with any bets you're looking at today, and we'll give you our best advice on all of them. We are committed to responding to every single comment every day, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the day. We've got the Miami Marlins going on the road to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Marlins come into this game fresh off of a very solid 10-1 win there over the Phillies. They split that 4-game series 2 games apiece. Honestly, guys, Miami not as bad here in the back half of the season as many would have expected. We've seen some decent things from them, but at 54-89 on the year, obviously they don't have a lot to be playing for. They're going to be hitting the ball in this one to Volante Belozo. This 24-year-old, guys, he's done some good stuff this season. He's 2-2 on the year with a 3.78 ERA. His last start was a very good one against the Washington Nationals. He went 6 innings, gave up 3 hits and 0 runs while walking 2 and striking out 1. Definitely a nice start after a couple bad starts in a row, guys. He struggled against the Colorado Rockies and against the Cubs, but seems like he's a little bit back on track here. It is kind of interesting. We see the Marlins are actually 4-1 over his last 5 starts, so that's got to feel good for him, but not all of that success really has been his fault. So we'll see what he can do here against the Pirates. Not necessarily the hardest hitting team. In terms of their bullpen, Miami was actually good at some different points of the season. They're not the hottest right now in the bottom half of the league for sure with a 4.18 bullpen ERA. Not really too impressed with the bullpen at this point in the year, guys. They're kind of cycling through things here with their entire pitching staff, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, so they can hopefully make some better decisions down the road and in the next year. In terms of their offense, the Marlins obviously coming off a couple of great games, combining to score 19 runs over their last 2, but before that they were struggling a little bit. I'm not going to say this is really the hardest hitting team out there. I mean, not a lot of crazy sluggers leading the way. They're 29th in the majors in runs scored. They are 29th in the majors in on base percentage, getting on base at only a 296 clip. They're 18th in the majors in batting average, so I guess that's something positive to look at, but generally speaking, is this an offense that I'm very excited about? Absolutely not. So we'll see what the Marlins can do in this matchup going up against the Pirates, who come into this game fresh off of going 2-2 in a 4-game series there against the Nationals. The Pirates are 67-76 on the year, dead last in the NL Central, but their bright spot this season has definitely been the emergence of Paul Skeens. He's looking like an absolute monster out there. He's 9-2 on the year, 2.13 ERA in his rookie season. Absolutely insane stuff. His last start was very good against the Cubs. He went 5 innings, gave up 4 hits and no runs. He walked 4 in that game, so he didn't even have his best stuff, but still struck out 6. In a game we saw the Pirates eventually win 5-0. So very, very good stuff there. Skeens on the mound, it seems to translate into good things for the Pirates. Yeah, nothing bad for me to say about this guy. He has just been fantastic all season long. A young guy, seems like he's going to make it through this season uninjured, knock on wood, and I expect even better things from him next season. In terms of their bullpen, however, we are worried about the Pirates. A 4.66 bullpen ERA is pretty horrendous. Not a bullpen that I have a lot of faith in for all of the obvious reasons. Skeens could hand them a big lead and end up, not being able to qualify for the win. This is not a bullpen that I trust. So worried about that part of the pitching staff in this game. And in terms of their offense, the Pirates not exactly killing it. They've scored 7, 6, 3, 9, and 0 runs over their last few games. Overall, this has not been a team that's been great at the plate this year. They're 21st in the majors in runs scored. They're 27th in slugging percentage. Like, we've seen great stuff from Brian Reynolds at different points, but it seems like he's cooling off here towards the end of the year. Just not really an offense that I'm super high on right now, guys. So looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Marlins at plus 210. We've got the Pirates at minus 255. We got an over-under in this one of 7.5. The Marlins are 26 and 42 on the road, so a terrible road team. The Pirates are 34 and 38 at home, so obviously that's not amazing or anything like that. In terms of the side in this game, guys, I'm definitely leaning towards the Pirates. With Skeens on the mound, it's pretty hard to go wrong with that one. Obviously, a pretty terrible price. Not a price we're going to be super interested in paying. I mean, if you wanted to take a look at taking the Pirates at minus 1.5, which also seems kind of bold to me, you can get them at minus 125, something like that. So I guess you could look at that, but I'm not really that interested in the side. I'm more interested in this over-under. The Marlins, guys, are 40, 27, and 1 to the under on the road. That's one of the biggest under teams when playing on the road in the majors this season. The Pirates are 37, 32, and 3 to the over at home, but with Skeens on the mound, I don't see the Marlins scoring any runs through the first 5 or 6 innings. That leaves it up to that pretty mediocre Pirates bullpen to kind of hold things down, and I think they could maybe be up to the task here against the Marlins, although they're swinging some hotter bats. So, guys, give me the over as my favorite lean on this game, but this game is not going in the pinned comment. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Tampa Bay Rays going on the road to take on the Philadelphia Phillies. The Rays come into this game fresh off of winning 2 out of 3 at Camden Yards, so pretty solid stuff there against Baltimore. They're going to be handing the ball in this one to Cole Sulser, hoping that he can help them improve on that 71 and 72 season record. He comes into this game, guys, sporting a 4.35 ERA. It's going to be his 4th appearance since being acquired from the Mets. This is a bullpen guy primarily. The last time out he did start, it was against the Twins, but he only went 2 innings. He gave up 1 hit, and that was eventually a 9-4 win there for the Tampa Bay Rays. So the bullpen held together in that one. Do we expect something similar this time? I would say so, guys. I mean, the bullpen for the Rays has been really good here down the stretch. They're currently 7th in the majors with a 3.71 bullpen ERA, so that is very, very solid stuff there, no doubt about that. And we've seen Sulser be very good in his last few outings. We can count on him at least through the first couple of innings here, and with this bullpen there to pick up the slack or, just pick up and take over the rest of this game, I'm expecting pretty decent stuff from the Rays out there on the mound. In terms of their offense, that's a different story, guys. We see Tampa Bay, they've scored 2, 7, 0, 3, and 9 runs over their last few. So honestly, maybe things are looking up a little bit for this offense, but yeah, guys, this is not a unit that I'm super excited about. I mean, they're 28th in the majors in runs scored, 28th in the majors in slugging percentage. They're only getting on base at a 306 clip. They are 27th in the majors, batting 231 as a team. Like, this is not a squad that's swinging particularly hot bats coming into this game, and just generally speaking, not an offense that I'm very excited about. So a little bit worried about them here going up against the Phillies, who come into this game needing to kind of turn things around. They just went 2-2 in a 4-game series against the Marlins. They still have a 7-game cushion there in the NL East, so they don't have to be too worried out there, but still, you don't want to be losing a bunch of games to a team like the Marlins. That's pretty embarrassing stuff. The Phillies are going to be handing the ball in this one to Christopher Sanchez, who's 10-9 on the season with a 3.45 ERA. His last start was a very solid one at Toronto. He went 7 innings, gave up 6 hits and 2 earned runs. Not his most dominant stuff, but good enough to see his team get the 4-2 win on the road there. Over his last 4 starts, the Phillies are 3-1, and yeah, the only bad one, guys, he gave up 3 earned runs at Atlanta, and they lost that game 3-2. So not even 100% fault up on him in that one. Generally speaking, we've been very happy with what we've seen from Sanchez over the course of this season. Really nothing bad for me to say about this young guy. So expecting good things from him. What do we expect from that Phillies bullpen, though? That's a completely different thing. They've been a little bit better here recently. A 3.91 bullpen ERA has them in the top half of the majors, but is this a bullpen that we trust? Do we think if Sanchez hands them the ball with like a 2-run lead that the Phillies are just going to be able to waltz their way into winning that game? Guys, that is not what it feels like to me. This has not been a very trustworthy bullpen here down the stretch, so definitely some question marks there. In terms of the offense here for the Phillies, they come into this one fresh off of scoring only a single run against the Marlins. They've scored 1, 5, 16, 5, and 4 runs over their last few games. kind of down the stretch here, things just haven't been quite as good for this offense like they were early in the season. I mean, we see Schwarber with 33 home runs. He's batting 250 this year. Those are fantastic numbers for him. This is clearly a top 5, top 6, something like that offense in the majors. Really no doubt about that. I mean, they're 5th in runs scored, 4th in batting average, 5th in on base percentage, but just right now, things aren't really clicking for the Phillies. Maybe they're coasting here a little bit, knowing that they're going to be all right, but yeah, right now, guys, a little bit worried about the Phillies. So looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Tampa Bay Rays at plus 166, the Phillies at minus 198. We've got an over-under in this game of 7.5. Tampa Bay is 34-34 on the road. The Phillies are 47-24 at home. That's an MLB best home mark. We got the Tampa Bay. They're an under team on the road. They're 37-30-1 to the under on the road, and the Phillies, they're an under team at home. They're 36-31-4 to the under at home. Guys, this is a very interesting game to me. I am expecting good stuff from that Tampa Bay Rays bullpen. Will the offense put up enough to keep up here? That seems a bit sketch with that Phillies, bullpen coming around a little bit, but I don't really trust them. And generally speaking, in terms of the side of in this game, guys, I think there's too much value on the Tampa Bay Rays at plus 166. I think you kind of have to go with them in terms of the side in this one. Taking the Phillies at minus 198 is not appealing at all. So go ahead and give me the Rays in this one. And in terms of the over-under, I think this is a definite spot you want to look at that under. I think we could see good stuff from Sanchez against this Rays team that's not very hard hitting. I'm not expecting big stuff from the Phillies here going up against the Tampa Bay Rays in a bullpen start. Their bullpen has been very, very good here. So yeah, I think under 7.5 also has some value. Are either one of these plays going to end up in the pinned comment? I'm not sure yet, guys. We'll have to wait and see, but generally speaking, I think this is a pretty good spot for Tampa Bay, and since I think this is going to be a very close, very low scoring game, give me the under as well. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Cincinnati Reds going on the road to take on the Atlanta Braves. The Reds come into this game fresh off of winning their last one. It was game 3 of a 3-game series against the Mets where they dropped the first 2. So things not exactly looking great for the Reds. They're 13.5 games back in the NL Central, so starting to feel like their season is pretty much over. They're going to be hitting the ball to Nick Martinez in this one. He's sporting a 3.67 ERA coming into this game. His last start, maybe not his best effort. I mean, he went 5 2/3 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 runs, but only one of them was earned in a start against the Astros. The Reds did win that game 12-5, so I guess give him a little bit of credit there, but definitely not his best stuff out there on the mound. And he struggled to start before that, getting knocked around by the Milwaukee Brewers. Start before that, he was good against the Pirates, but generally speaking, this has not been a guy that we can really trust here in his starting role. We'll see what he can do in this one. I'm not expecting miracles from him out there, though. I'm a little bit worried. Nick Martinez, not one of my favorite starters, and the Reds bullpen, also not one of my favorites, but not one of my least favorites either, guys. They are in the top half of the majors with a 3.90 bullpen ERA, but that is not a number that's been nearly as good here over their past 10 or 15 games or so. Definitely taking a little bit of a hit here, taking a little bit of a nosedive. This bullpen was looking borderline elite. That's not the case anymore. So a lot's going to fall on the shoulders of this Reds offense, but that's not a spot this team has excelled this season. They've scored 3-0-4-1 and 12 runs over their last few games. They're 15th in the majors in runs scored, so that looks pretty good, but 25th in batting average, guys. They're 20th in on base percentage. Getting on base at a 306 clip, not going to lead to tons and tons of success. So definitely quite a few question marks out there for me about this offense. Just not quite up to par here. So we'll see what they can do against the Atlanta Braves, who come into this game definitely with some work to do. They're 7 games back in the NL East. They just won 2 out of 3 against the Toronto Blue Jays, but that's kind of a series you have to be aiming to sweep. They're going to be hitting the ball to Charlie Morton in this one. He's 8-7 on the year with a 4.24 ERA. His last start was a good one, guys. Against the Rockies, he went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits and 2 earned runs. He struck out 8 in that game, so looking pretty good out there. Over his last 5 starts, we see that the Braves are 4-1, so that's pretty nice. And even that one loss was a very solid start by him against the Phillies. So we'll see what he can do here going up against the Cincinnati Reds. Not the toughest hitting opponent here, so I'm expecting pretty good stuff from Uncle Charlie. And guys, I'm always going to be expecting good stuff from that Atlanta bullpen. A 3.23 bullpen ERA has them 3rd in the majors. They've been one of the best 2 or 3 bullpens in the major leagues basically all season long, so not expecting any big nosedive from them here. In terms of their offense, guys, that's where the questions start to pop up for this Atlanta Braves team. They lean very heavily on Ozuna to kind of get the job done for them, keep the ball rolling for them on offense, and if he has a bad night, things can come apart pretty quick. They've scored 4, 5, 3, 1, 5, and 3 runs over their last 6 games, guys. And those are a 3-game series against Toronto and a 3-game series against the Colorado Rockies. Not exactly the toughest opponents out there, guys. They're 18th in the majors in runs scored, 19th in the majors in on-base percentage. This just isn't really an offense that I am crazy about. So looking at the numbers of this game, we've got the Reds at plus 128, the Braves at minus 152. We've got an over-under of 8.5 out there. The Reds are 33 and 36 on the road, so not a great road team. Atlanta is 40 and 30 at home, so a pretty good team at home. In terms of the over-under for this game, the Reds are a slight over team on the road, but Atlanta, they are a big under team at home. They are 47, 22 and 1 to the under at home. That is an MLB best mark to the under for any team playing at home. And guys, we got an over-under of 8.5 in this game. That seems like a pretty big number to me, especially given this pitching matchup. I mean, I'm a little bit worried about Martinez, a little bit worried about that Reds bullpen, but the Braves offense has been pretty bad lately, so I think there's definitely some value out there on under 8.5. And if you're determined to bet a side in this game, I definitely think you want to be taking the Braves at home. Yeah, I'm just not that in love with that Cincinnati offense. I think the Braves will find a way to eke out a win. Will it be a dominant win? I don't think so. I think the under probably has more value. Hey guys, jumping in here with a quick ad break. First of all, this is a great time to sign up at stumpthespread.com. Signing up for a premium membership gets you access to our entire team of cappers covering MLB, NCAA football, UFC, and the NFL. If you just want to test out the service, a great way to do that is by joining our free email list, which will get you the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Just go ahead and click that link in the description. It'll take you right over to stumpthespread.com. Also, guys, just to clarify some of the questions we've been getting in the emails and in the comments, I am not the MLB capper for stumpthespread.com. These YouTube picks are obviously free to everyone and are just what I am seeing out there. We have an expert with nearly 15 years of experience that covers MLB and has a very strong algorithm and some very cool tools that he uses to bring our premium members the best picks possible. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're new. Now back to the games. Next on the docket, guys, we've got the Kansas City Royals going on the road to take on the New York Yankees. The Royals come into this game fresh off of a sweep there, finishing off that 3-game sweep against the Minnesota Twins, winning 2-1 in the last game of that series. They've won 4 in a row now. They're 2.5 games back of Cleveland in the AL Central, so once again putting on that pressure. They're going to be handing the ball in this game to Brady Singer, who's 9 and 10 on the year with a 3.35 ERA. His last start was against Cleveland, and he was good out there, but didn't get any offense to back him up. He went 5 and 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 earned runs in a game we saw the Royals eventually lose 7-1. Over his last 5 starts, I would say 3 of them have been excellent and 2 of them have been pretty bad. So a little bit of inconsistency there, which could be a concern here going up against a team like the Yankees. The last time he faced the Yankees was back on June 11th, and he straight up did not have a good time out there. 5 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs. He gave up a home run. Yeah, just not his best stuff. So pretty concerned here with him going up against the Yankees once again. And guys, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned about this bullpen either. They're bottom 6 in the majors with a 4.43 bullpen ERA. Not really where you want to be for this Royals team that's looking to keep this good run here going. But yeah, against a team like the Yankees, that's kind of a big ask. They're gonna need the offense to put up some runs, some serious runs here. And they did win all 3 games in that series against the Twins, but the offense was not going crazy, guys. They scored 2, 4, and 5 runs in that series, so no big major offensive outbursts. We have seen Bobby Witt Jr., doing crazy things out there at the plate and with the gloves, so an exciting guy to watch for sure, but he can't carry this offense on his own, guys. They're down to 9th in the majors in runs scored, 11th in the majors in slugging percentage. Like, this is not an offense that really looks like it's on the top of its game here, coming into a series against a very, very good offensive team. The Yankees, guys, they haven't been having the best time lately. They did just lose a game 2-1 at Wrigley Field, but that's not ideal. They're 82 and 61 on the year, so hanging on to that top spot in the AL East. They're right there with Baltimore. Tons of questions about this team's rotation. How well can they actually do in the playoffs here? We're going to have to see. They're going to be handing the ball to Carlos Rodon in this one. He's 14 and 9 on the year with a 4.19 ERA. His last time out, it looked like vintage Rodon from early in the season, guys. It was at the Texas Rangers, so not the toughest hitting team. He went 6 innings, gave up 1 hit, 1 earned run. He struck out 11 and walked 2. I would say over his last 5 starts, he's had 3 dominant starts and 2 that were pretty questionable, and he hasn't exactly been going up against a murderer's row of opponents. But do the Kansas City Royals fall into the category of like an amazing offense? I don't know, guys. It seems a little bit questionable to me. Looking at his history against the Royals this season, he pitched against them back in mid-June. He went 7 innings, gave up 5 hits, only a single earned run. That one, it was right before, that was the last start before his tailspin there, where he was just terrible for a bit. So we'll see what we get out of him in this game. To be honest, guys, I'm expecting pretty good stuff from Rodon in this game. I don't think he's going to struggle too much here against the Royals. And yeah, I am worried about the Yankees bullpen a little bit. A 3.81 bullpen ERA is obviously not ideal, but this team in general, this pitching staff in general, is coming off a fantastic series against the Cubs, guys. They only allowed a total of 1 run over 3 games in that series. Very, very crazy stuff. So expecting good stuff from the pitching staff in this game. We're also expecting pretty good stuff, guys, from this offense. It's been relatively clear sailing for the Yankees in terms of injuries and stuff like that as of late. We have seen maybe a slight downturn here. I mean, obviously this series against the Cubs wasn't great. They scored 1, 2, and 3 runs respectively, but time for this offense to break out. They're one of the best offensive teams in the majors, second most runs scored this year, second in on-base percentage in the MLB. They're the 3rd best slugging percentage team. This is a very, very good offense. So looking at the numbers for this game, guys, we've got the Royals at plus 158, the Yankees at minus 174. We've got an over-under of 8.5. The Royals are 34-35 on the road, not a very good road team. That's been a problem for them all season long. The Yankees are 37-31 at home, so they've been decent at home at Yankee Stadium for sure. Definitely a hitter-friendly park, which benefits them. In terms of the over-under here, we see the Royals, they're a pretty big under team on the road, 37-28-4 to the under when playing away from home. The Yankees are 40-27-1 to the over at home, so they're a big over team. Looking at the numbers for this game, guys, the Royals at plus 158, the Yankees at minus 174, makes me want to look at taking the Yankees at minus 1.5 here. If you take them at minus 1.5, you can get them at around plus 115, plus 120. That's pretty enticing to me. Guys, go ahead and give me the Yankees minus 1.5 here. Rodon is pitching pretty well recently, and we've seen Singer struggle, and we've seen him struggle against the Yankees earlier this year, where Rodon has very good history against the Yankees. So go ahead and give me the Yankees minus 1.5. If you're determined to take a look at this over-under, maybe a slight lean towards the over, but the Yankees are the play in this one for me. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the New York Mets going on the road to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. The Mets come into this game fresh off of a loss that snapped a lengthy winning streak there. They did win 2 out of 3 in their series against the Reds, and at 78-65 in the year. They are 7 games back of the Phillies there in the NL East, but this Mets team really, really turning things around here. They're going to be hitting the ball to Paul Blackburn, who's 5-4 in the year with a 4.66 ERA. He's coming back from a hand injury that had him on the 15-day IL, so we'll see what he can do out here in this one with that apparently all healed up and ready to go. His last start was definitely a debacle against the Padres, but his start before that against the Marlins was good. He had some trouble against Oakland, but a great start against the Rockies. This guy has been very, very up and down this season. Absolutely no doubt about that. Needs to find some consistency here. You're 30 years old, not going to get the excuse of being a young guy that's inconsistent. You need to figure things out. So we'll see what Paul Blackburn can do. I'm expecting a decent start from him coming off of that hand injury. I think he's healthy and ready to go, but maybe not expecting miracles. In terms of their bullpen, we've seen the Mets get much, much better over the course of the year, guys. They're up around MLB average now with a 3.91 bullpen ERA, which is light years better than this bullpen was early on in the year. So that's a big positive for the Mets. And the offense, guys, it's been pretty good lately. Obviously, they only got held to 1 run in their last game, but 1, 4, 6, 8, 7, 4, and 2 runs over their last several games will definitely work. This is looking like a top 10 offense, no doubt about that in my book. I mean, 8th in the majors in runs scored, 9th in the majors in on-base percentage. Obviously, losing McNeil to a broken right wrist is not ideal, but I still think this offense is going to be all right out there. I don't think that's going to be, too massive of a loss there for them. Francisco Lindor doing good stuff. Pete Alonso obviously bringing the power numbers. This offense always seems to find a way to get the job done. So we'll see what they can do here going up against the Blue Jays, who come into this game fresh off of a loss to the Braves. They haven't been having a great time, losing 5 out of their last 6 to fall to 68-76 on the year. This has been a team that really hasn't had high aspirations. It doesn't feel like since the first maybe 2 months of the season where things got off to a pretty bad start. They're going to be hitting the ball to Chris Bassett in this game. He's 9-13 on the year with a 4.30 ERA. His last start against the Phillies, not his best stuff. He went 5 1/3 innings, gave up 10 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them were earned. He gave up a couple of home runs in that game. He's been pretty inconsistent here down the stretch, guys. I mean, giving up 3, 1, 4, 3, and 7 earned runs over his last 5 starts. We all see the Blue Jays are only 1 and 4 over those starts, so not a lot of great stuff cooking for Bassett right now. We'll see how he fares against the Mets. They're not a team that he's faced this season, it doesn't look like. So, yeah, a little bit worried about him out there on the mound. This dude's 35 years old. The end of the season might not be the best time for him. And in terms of their bullpen, guys, we have massive concerns about the Toronto Blue Jays. A 4.79 bullpen ERA is really bad. They're bottom 3. It's the Blue Jays, the White Sox, and the Colorado Rockies. Those are the worst bullpens in Major League Baseball right now. So once Bassett comes out of this game, which he's not necessarily a guy that goes past 5 or 6 innings, then you're going to see that bullpen and things could get ugly. So their offense really going to need to step up here. They've scored 3, 9, 1, 2, and 9 runs over their last few games. So hitting the ball a little bit better here. We've seen good stuff from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the back half of the season. No doubt about that. But is this an offense that we're very excited about, guys? I mean, they are 16th in the majors in runs scored, 15th in batting average. They're 13th in on-base percentage. This is looking like a very, very average offense. So looking at the matchup in this game, guys, we've got the Mets at -112, the Blue Jays at -104. We've got an over-under of 8.5 in this game. The Mets are actually 31 and 37 on the road, a very, very respectable road team. Toronto is 34 and 35 at home, so nothing too special there. We actually have both teams showing trends towards the over in this spot. The Mets are 34, 30, and 4 to the over on the road, and Toronto's a big over team at home. They're 40, 28, and 1 to the over at home. They're one of the, creepily better over teams playing at home this season. So with an over-under of only 8.5, I definitely like the over in this game. It might be the better value here, but I also definitely like the Mets at -112. They're playing pretty well right now. Not too jazzed up about what I'm seeing from Toronto. So go ahead and give me the Mets and the over in this one. One of these plays at least is ending up in the pinned comment. Moving right along here, guys, we're looking at the Baltimore Orioles going on the road to take on the Boston Red Sox. The Orioles come into this game fresh off of losing 2 out of 3 against the Tampa Bay Rays at 82 and 62 on the year. They're a half game back of the Yankees in the AL East. This Orioles team not having as good of a time here down the stretch as they were having in the early goings. They're handing the ball to Cade Povich in this one, who's 2-7 on the year with a 5.76 ERA. His last start was one of his best starts of the year. It was against the White Sox. He went 7 1/3 innings, gave up 5 hits and no earned runs while striking out 10 and walking 0. So yeah, lights out stuff for him there, but doing that against a team like the Chicago White Sox, not really going to be thrilled. That being said, his last start against the Boston Red Sox was very good as well. Back on the 17th of August, he went 6 1/3 innings, gave up 6 hits and 2 earned runs. He walked 0 and struck out 6 in that game. So yeah, I'm not expecting terrible stuff from him here in this matchup. I think he'll be all right out there against the Red Sox. Am I expecting him to go out there and dominate? No, but I'm expecting him to at least keep the Orioles in this game. Do I expect the bullpen to be able to keep them in this game? Well, a 3.96 ERA coming out of the pen, I guess, isn't a complete disaster anymore, but this bullpen does not fill me with optimism. This is absolutely not a bullpen I trust. So they're going to continue to lean on this offense, and that's been a bit of a problem recently, guys. They got shut out in their last game. The game before that, they only scored 1. They have scored 0, 1, 2, 1, and 9 runs over their last few games. That is not great, guys. This offense not looking like it did early in the year. They're 3rd in the majors in runs scored, 1st in the majors in slugging percentage still, but they're down to 9th in batting average, 11th in on-base percentage. This is not a team that's really looking like it has the legs here at the end of the year to continue to hit the ball so well. So we'll see what they can do going up against the Red Sox, who come into this game fresh off winning 2 out of 3 against the White Sox. They did lose the last game of that series 7-2, so that's pretty freaking embarrassing. And at 72 and 71 on the year, they're 10 games back in the AL East. So this is a team with an awful lot of work to do here at the end of the season if they want to be playing postseason baseball. They're handing the ball to Brian Bello in this game, who's 12-7 on the year with a 4.75 ERA. His last start was at the Mets. He went 5 innings, gave up 7 hits and 4 earned runs in a 4-1 loss there for the Red Sox. So that's not ideal. Over his last 5 games, guys, he's been lights out in 3 of his starts, pretty bad in 2 of the other ones. One of those good lights out starts, though, was at Baltimore on the 17th. He went 6 innings, gave up 2 hits, only a single earned run. He struck out 6 and walked 3. So some pretty good history for him right now against the Orioles. And looking at the Boston bullpen, that's not a bullpen that's been amazing this season necessarily. And down the stretch here, it's been very problematic. They are 25th in the majors with a 4.60 bullpen ERA. They did have a good bullpen appearance against Baltimore back on the 17th, though, so maybe they'll be all right. might. We'll have to wait and see though. I'm a little bit worried about this bullpen. Don't get me wrong. In terms of the offense, they haven't necessarily been killing it as of late either, guys. They've scored 2, 7, 3, 3, 2, and 1 run over their last few. Just not a team that's playing their best ball right now, guys. Things have been a struggle for Boston. They looked like one of the best offenses at different points in this season, but currently down to 10th in the majors in runs scored, 7th in on-base percentage, and guys, these are not numbers that are headed in a great direction. So definitely plenty of concern here for this offense coming into this game. And look at the numbers. We've got the Orioles at plus 100, the Red Sox at minus 110. We've got an over-under of 9.5 in this game. Baltimore's a very good road team at 40 and 29 on the road. Boston's only 33 and 39 playing at Fenway, so that's not great. In terms of the over-under here, guys, we've actually got both teams showing trends towards the over. Boston's are so slight, it doesn't really matter, but Baltimore, they are the biggest over team on the road in the majors this season, 41, 25, and 3 to the over playing away from home. I don't like the over in this game, though, guys. I'm going to be super honest. I would lean more towards under 9.5 in this game. Both of these starters have pretty good history against their opponent in this one. Maybe just take under in the first 5 or something like that to dodge these two sketchy bullpens. But even with these sketchy bullpens, guys, I think under 9.5 definitely has some value. In terms of a side in this game, I'm going to be leaning towards the Red Sox at minus 110. I know Povich was good his last time against Boston, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be as good this time. Is this game or any of this going in the pinned comment, though? Absolutely not. This could be a full-on total anarchy game, so we'll see what happens out there, but I'm not getting too involved. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Los Angeles Angels going on the road to take on the Minnesota Twins. The Angels come into this game fresh off of losing 3 out of 4 there at the Texas Rangers. Not what you want to see, even from a team that's clearly not having a good time this season. The Angels are going to be handing the ball to Reed Detmers in this game. He's 3-6 this year with a 5.87 ERA. His last start was against the Dodgers. He was actually pretty good out there. He had 10 strikeouts over 6 innings and only gave up 2 earned runs and 3 hits. So very, very good stuff there. Unfortunately for him, the Angels lost that game 6-2 in extra innings, but regardless, he had one of his better starts of the year. He hadn't been throwing the ball that well coming into that game, and maybe it was just a situation where he pitched up to his level of competition. The last time he faced the Minnesota Twins, though, guys, he did not have a very good time. That was back in April, though, so not too much we can take from that, but it's at least worth noticing he got shelled the last time he went against this lineup. Down the stretch this season, guys, not somebody that I've been super excited about, and also not that excited about that Angels bullpen. They haven't been quite as bad at the end of the year. A 4.00 bullpen ERA is much better than they were looking, midway through when they were one of the worst bullpens in Major League Baseball. But they'll take what they can get. They'll see what they can get, and I don't think it's going to be anything amazing. In terms of this offense, I'm also not expecting miracles. They've scored 4, 4, 5, 1, and 10 runs over their last few games, which is honestly pretty solid production for a team that is 27th in the majors in runs scored and 28th in the majors in batting average. So yeah, guys, not super high on the Angels coming into this game against the Twins, who are needing to find some wins after getting swept by the Kansas City Royals. They're now 5 games back in the AL Central. They're going to be handing the ball to David Festa, who's 2-5 this year with a 4.75 ERA. His last couple of starts, though, have been very good. A good start against the Atlanta Braves, a very reasonable start at Tampa Bay, but the Twins are 1-4 over his last 5 starts. I would say only maybe one of those is his fault. He had a pretty suspect start against the St. Louis Cardinals, but man, things have just not been going his way as of late. So we'll see if he can, get some run support here going up against an Angels team. That's going to be the first time he goes up against them. I'm expecting pretty good stuff from this young 24-year-old. I think he can go out there and give them a solid 5 or 6 innings. What are we going to get from that Minnesota Twins bullpen, though, guys? Pretty sketchy stuff. A 4.07 bullpen ERA is not really what you're wanting to see from your bullpen. And the offense, not necessarily killing it either, guys. 0, 2, and 0 runs against the Royals. Not even the toughest pitching team out there. The offense just not coming together here at the end of the year. They're down out of the top 10 in runs scored and batting average. This team hasn't done well down the stretch, and this is the most important time of the year to do well. You want those races to end well at the end of the season. You want to find your way into the playoffs. You're going to have to hit the ball down the stretch. So looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Angels at plus 160, the Twins at minus 188. We've got an over-under of 8.5 in this game. The Angels are 29-42 on the road. The Twins are 39-30 at home, so a very good home team. In terms of the over-under here, we've got some mixed trends, and none of them are very big. And to be honest, I'm not interested in that over-under of 8.5. But in picking a side in this game, guys, I definitely like the Twins. Minus 188 seems like a very expensive price, and I don't like them enough to take them minus 1.5 in this game, but definitely give me the Twins in this one. Is that a price we're looking to put in the pinned comment? I don't think so, but I definitely think they win this game. Next on the docket, guys, we are looking at the Cleveland Guardians going on the road to take on the Chicago White Sox. The Guardians come into this game currently in the top spot in the AL Central, but they're only 2.5 games up on the Kansas City Royals, thanks in large part to losing 2 out of 3 there at the Dodgers. The Guardians come into this one handing the ball to Joey Cantillo, who's 0-3 on the year with a 7.71 ERA. His last time out, guys, he came out of the pen and was good against the Royals. 1 2/3 innings, 1 strikeout, no hits, no runs allowed. So nice to see this young guy go out there and get a pretty positive outing under his belt, but he has not been somebody that's looked good here in a starting role this season. That being said, he gets to go up against Chicago White Sox, a team that could definitely give him a nice little confidence boost. So we'll see what he can do out there. Definitely a bit of an unknown. We'll also see what we get out of this bullpen. I'm not going to be holding my breath for a bad situation from the Cleveland bullpen, guys. They've been the best bullpen in Major League Baseball over the course of the season, and they are currently first in the MLB in earned run average allowed coming out of the pen. So expecting good stuff from the bullpen, if not from the starter in this game. What do we expect to see from this offense that got shut out in its last game? I'm not sure, guys. We see Stephen Kwan's numbers continue to plummet. Jose Ramirez doing his thing out there. Cleveland 13th in the majors in runs scored, 22nd in batting average. They've scored 0, 2, 3, 1, 7, 4, and 6 runs over their last few games. I don't know, guys. This is a really tough offense to figure out. When are they going to have it? When are they not going to have it? You would think going up against a team like the Chicago White Sox would result in them having it, though. The White Sox come to this game fresh off of a very rare win. They're actually 2-2 over their last 4. 33 and 111 on the year, though. Pretty embarrassing. They're giving the ball to Nick Nastrini in this game, who's 0-7 on the year with a 7.79 ERA. His last outing, he only lasted 1 2/3 innings against the Baltimore Orioles. He's had some decent outing, good start against the Rangers, a decent start against the Boston Red Sox, but not a lot of positives to report for Nastrini this season. So we'll see what he can do here against the Guardians. Not the hardest hitting team, but yeah, not a guy that I'm going to have confidence in pretty much ever. And obviously, I don't have any confidence in that White Sox bullpen. They're second worst in the majors. A 4.99 bullpen ERA is frankly just straight up embarrassing. And in terms of their offense, they're dead last in the majors in basically every major statistical category. So not going to waste a ton of time talking about the White Sox offense, guys. It is historically bad. So looking at this matchup, we've got the Guardians at -240, the White Sox at +198. We've got an over-under of 8.5 in this game. Cleveland is 38 and 36 on the road. The White Sox are 18 and 54 at home. That's an MLB worst home mark. No bigger shocker there. We've got both teams showing trends towards the under in this spot, though, which is worth a look to me. Cleveland 40, 28 and 6 to the under on the road. The White Sox 40, 29 and 3 to the under at home. Guys, taking under 8.5 definitely seems like the play to me in this one. It's probably not going into the pinned comment just because I could see the Guardians putting up, a big breakout offensive performance here possibly, but yeah, go ahead and give me under 8.5 as a very small lean. In our last baseball game of the day, guys, we are looking at the Chicago Cubs going on the road to take on the LA Dodgers. The Cubs come into this game fresh off of a series against the Yankees where they did finish things off with a win, but they lost 2 out of 3 and had a really, really rough time at the plate. At 73 and 70 on the year, they're 9 games back of the Brewers in the NL Central. They're going to be hitting the ball to Kyle Hendricks in this game, who's 3 and 11 on the season with a 6.60 ERA. His last start, though, was a pretty good one against the Pirates. He went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, and only 2 earned runs. He struck out 5 and walked 1 in what ended up being a 5-0 loss there for the Cubs. So yeah, I mean, he pitched well. Not something you're going to see all the time from him. It's always his back. If his back's good, he's going to pitch well. If his back's bad, he is going to get absolutely shelled like he did by the Dodgers back in April. So we'll see what he can do in this one. I'm not holding my breath. You can really never have any idea what this guy's going to do out there. The Cubs bullpen, on the other hand, though, you can pretty much trust. They're 9th in the majors with a 3.72 bullpen ERA. Are they incredible? Can you trust them every single time? I would say no, but this is not a terrible bullpen, guys. I don't look at this as any sort of weakness for this team. The bats, though, definitely looked like a weakness in that series against the Yankees, where they scored a grand total of 1 run over 3 games. That is absolutely embarrassing stuff. And that was not even at Yankee Stadium or anything like that. You're playing in front of the home fans. You can't get any runs across the plate. That's pretty embarrassing. Oh, I misspoke, guys. They scored 2 runs over 3 games. My bad. 2 runs over 3 games. That's a big yikes. They're 13th in the majors in runs scored, 20th in the majors in batting average. They've scored 2, 0, 0, 12, 0, 3, and 14 runs over the last few games. Very feast or famine with this team. So we'll see what they can do against the Dodgers, who come into this one fresh off of winning 2 out of 3 against Cleveland. At 86 6-57 on the year. They've got a 6-game lead in the NL West. They're going to be handing the ball to Walker Buehler in this game, who's 1-4 this year with a 5.67 ERA. His last start was a good one against the Angels. His start for that was a good one against Baltimore. Start for that pretty problematic against Seattle, so not necessarily somebody I'm looking at as a lockdown starter. Going up against the Cubs will be a new adventure for him this season, but generally speaking, this is not a starter that I'm very confident in. I am confident in that Dodgers bullpen, though, guys. 5th in the majors with a bullpen ERA of 3.57, so that's certainly playable. A pretty good bullpen from the Dodgers. The real strength of this team, though, has been that offense. They've scored 4, 7, 1, 1, 6, 11, and 3 runs over their last few. Ohtani is an absolute monster. He's trying to end up in the 50-50 club, which is absolutely just insane to think about. Yeah, the Dodgers are 4th in the majors in runs scored, 7th in the majors in batting average. They're 3rd in the majors in on-base percentage. No way around it. This is an absolutely elite offensive team. So looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Cubs at plus 146, the Dodgers at minus 162. We've got an over-under of 9.5 in this game. The Cubs are 35-37 on the road. The Dodgers are 46-24 at home, one of the better home teams in the majors. Both teams showing trends towards the over here. The Cubs' trends are so slight it doesn't really matter, but the Dodgers are 39-28-3 to the over when playing at home, and with an over-under of 9.5, that seems like a bit of a stretch to me. I would lean towards the over if you're forcing me to bet on over-under here, but I don't love it. I do think I like the Dodgers at minus 162 to win this game. I don't trust Buehler enough to take them minus 1.5, but I think minus 162, a reasonable price to pay for us, especially going up against Kyle Hendricks here, somebody who could look absolutely terrible at the drop of the hat. Last up here, guys, we are going to look at the Monday Night Football matchup between the New York Jets and the San Francisco 49ers. The Jets come into this season hoping that things can turn completely around with Aaron Rodgers under center, expecting some pretty good stuff from him this year after last year got absolutely destroyed when Rodgers immediately went down right out of the gate. I'm expecting him to have a pretty good season and to start it off well. I mean, he looked solid in camp. There was a little bit of weirdness, but it's Aaron Rodgers, so I think you kind of have to expect that from him at this point in his career. This team has a very solid wide receiver core. I think Rodgers had enough time to develop some chemistry with those guys over the little bit that he got done with them last year, and then this entire, like training camp and stuff. So I'm expecting pretty good stuff in the passing game. I also think this is a team that will be able to run the ball relatively well. Offense was really where the huge question marks were for this team a year ago, not on defense. Defensively, we saw great stuff from the Jets all season long until they were pretty much giving up at the end, but who can blame those guys trying to play a good defense when your offense is just literally shooting itself, not in the foot, but more like in the face on seemingly every possession? Had to be a pretty tough look. So expecting very good stuff from the Jets here this season and pretty good stuff from them to start things off, but it's not going to be a cupcake situation, guys. They are going up against the 49ers, who come into the season probably pretty excited to be back, on track, hopefully after losing in the Super Bowl. That's not a great look. Yeah, it's got to be a little bit rough. Everybody's signed and in the building now, and it seems like the word is that everybody's going to play in week 1. We don't know for sure, so be checking on stuff. We did see McCaffrey deal with an injury there in training camp, but seems like he's not going to be facing any sort of limits or anything. He's going to be back out there, and when they have everybody out there, this is one of the toughest offenses in in the National Football League for sure. Expecting good stuff from the 49ers here, and their defense, not a concern really, guys. They're going to be very good on that side of the ball. Maybe they could take a little bit of a step back from last season, but how big of a deal is that really? Like, I'm expecting this to be a very good 49ers offense, at least down the stretch here. Could they get off to a slow start? Sure. Could anyone get off to a slow start? It's always possible. So looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Jets at +4 in this one. I think it's still at -4. Yeah, that appears to be correct. So we'll see if that changes any leading up to game time, but we're going to be going off of the idea here that's going to be the Jets +4, the 49ers -4, an over-under of 43.5 in this game. Looking at both these offenses, guys, I do think that 43.5 number is looking pretty small to me, and I'm going to be leaning slightly towards the over here. I think this Jets offense is going to be a completely different animal than last season. I'm expecting the 49ers offense to be absolutely fine as well. We do have two pretty good defenses out there, so I can see why you wouldn't be in love with this pick, and I'm not saying it's going in the pinned comment, but I do think we're going to see enough offense in this game to get over that very small number. If you want my pick against the spread on this game, you're going to have to be signed up at stumpthespread.com, guys. We have a premium pick on this game over there. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.